It's safe to assume with China's imports will continue to grow as we push through 2015, but it's also likely to accelerate the M&A process and strategic asset purchases that we see from China, surely too.
Sure, it's good for China. There's no question about it, because you can look at from several angles. One is that China can save a lot of money. If that low oil price continue for 1 year, China can save more than 100 billion US dollars. So that's another thing, is that China can use this opportunity to go abroad to buy oil assets. Another one is that low oil prices and together with other commodity prices is also lower. It's good for China's reform, which China is actually President Xi's idea of the energy revolution. The main idea is energy reforms. And low oil prices are actually good for energy reforms.
We'll come on to the idea of energy reforms right now, but if we look at the asset acquisition, where does China cast its eye? Because it's not like we haven't seen them acquiring assets over the last decade, but if we talk about the US shale boom that we've looked at, we look at asset prices right now, or share prices right now for some of these oil majors, and they're really struggling. So where do you expect China to focus?
Well, China will really focus, for example, the cooperation with Russia. Okay, and also that the Middle East, Latin America. China actually going everywhere. Right now, it just presents a window of opportunity for it to go out.
You mentioned Russia there. We've seen two huge deals in the last year. In particular, the expectation that Russia can now supply, up to a fifth of China's gas supplies by 2020. It's been obviously a necessity for Russia to look elsewhere as far as their demand is concerned,
right,
but also pretty opportunistic for China in terms of price, given that necessity.
It is true. It is true. For example, for Russia, it really need a market at this moment. Desperation. For China, it is good that something comes from Russia for two reasons. One is for security reasons. There's a border connection for both countries. And most of the Russians really didn't need a market at this moment. China has a market, Russia has the resources. So they put together, I think that's quite complementary between Russia and China. So moving forward, even without this, there'll be good cooperation. With this, you can see even better deals coming.
You were talking about just how the oil majors now move, but what we can't escape is that they're monopolies. They're owned by the state, and they're heavily criticised for corruption, for inefficiency right now. If we look at pricing in the domestic economy, it's linked to what happens as far as international oil prices are concerned. While oil prices are high, there's no incentive to reform. You've said it will perhaps accelerate reform. Why? Will it really?
Yes, it is true, because we know that reform in China is quite slow in the sense that in terms of energy pricing. And the reason for that is very simple. When the economy grows very fast, the demand grows very fast, the first priority is to satisfy demand, not the efficiency. Reform is always something to do with efficiency. Right now, when the economy is slowing down, and also happen to be low oil prices.
So it's those two things. It's the growth slowdown, and it's also, don't separate those two things. Right.